Dude, and then Jason, and then Happy.
I'm going to be quick. Going through the questions. If men really think promiscuity so bad, then why they do it themselves? I agree with Jack when he said that either or nobody should be cheating on one another.
Mhm.
However, I would like to say this: the consequences are completely different when it comes to men and women. I think men still have a possibility of still getting married and going on more in life than a woman does. I'm not saying it's impossible, but the statistics just aren't there.
What if they
And
don't care about that?
huh?
Who like you would have to assume that those people care about getting married. But what if they don't care about that?
I mean, if they don't care about that, then they get to go and live happily ever after any way they want. But if you're going to engage in stuff like that, you know, don't come back years later like, okay, well, why didn't I have a? Why can't I get a family? Why can't I get a husband? Why can't I be happily married after? Your
And you think
consequences have results, and there's
and
just
you
no
think
escaping that for men and women.
and you think that you think that um promiscuous women have a lower likelihood of getting married by force, not by choice,
What do you mean by force?
meaning like they don't have the option of getting married simply for being promiscuous.
Like I said, I'm not saying it's impossible.
No,
I'm
no, no.
just saying
I
it's
know. I'm
unlikely.
saying, hold on. I'll ask the question again. What I'm asking you is you're implying, right, that if a woman is promiscuous, the likelihood that she'll get married or find a partner goes down, but simply because she is promiscuous, right? So it's not her choice. Because then you said that you don't want to hear them come back years later and be like, "Oh, I can't find somebody." Blah blah blah. So you're saying that it's not her choice, right? You're saying that she is forced to be lonely or be single or whatever you think. Is that what am I understanding that correctly?
No, like I said, like it's not impossible, but it's less likely.
I know. I heard that is not impossible. I didn't say it's impossible. You're saying it's less likely. Based on what? That's what I'm saying. Based on what?
Based
Is it her
on,
choice or is it other people's choices for her?
I'll say, based on the amount of men who just doesn't want to deal with a woman who has been cheated, been in the streets, multiple kids, things of that nature.
But wait, you're talking, sir, back up. You're talking about, you're conflating a lot of different things. Just stick to the act of being promiscuous. Just stick to the behavior of being promiscuous. Don't imply anything outside of that. A
So
promiscuous
you're talking
woman,
about having a lot of random sex with a lot of random guys.
that's it. In a short proximity, right? In a short time frame of time. Because if you're 60 and you've slept with 60 men, that's reasonable. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And you've been single this whole time, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Even 120 men, whatever, that makes sense. But if you're 25 and you slept with 60 men, that's pretty quick, right? So I'm just talking about the about promiscuity in a vacuum. If a woman is promiscuous, don't assume that she got baby daddies. You have to make all of these logical, or I would say illogical, leaps, right? To justify your thought process here. Don't do that. Just take promiscuity, a woman or a person that is sleeping with a lot of people in short succession, right? And then you're saying that those people, that men don't want to deal with those men, deal with those women.
I think they'll deal with them, but not in the fashion of husband and wife in long term relationships.
Who told you that? Based
Excuse
on
me?
what? Based on what? Where are you getting that from? If I like, if we, I could. I mean, there's a. How do you want me to do this? Right? Let's not have it statistically, because who? Let's not have a statistical discussion about this, because
I mean,
we really
I'm not
don't
sure where
know.
you look.
Hold on,
I'm not sure
real
where you
quick, dude.
grew up
Listen,
at,
hold on,
but like
hold
it's
on,
very
hold
relevant in
on,
our community.
dude. Let me tell you something real quick. There is, as far as I know, there's really no way to definitively prove this out. So we're gonna have to use our own anecdotal experiences on this one, right? Okay. So if I can name Kim Kardashian, Melania Trump, what's her name, Amber Rose, like I can name a bunch of women who I don't even know if Kim Kardashian is promiscuous, to be honest with you. I think she was. But I know Amber Rose was. She admitted it. And Melania Trump was, we know her history, right? So these women are married, right? I don't know where you're getting this Ruby Rose. Like, I'm not understanding Nancy Reagan, absolutely. I'm not understanding where you're getting this information from that men don't want to deal with these types of women. I
I'm
haven't seen evidence of that.
I literally just said verbatim, they will deal with them, but not vet them for something like marriage and
Marry
start.
them, date them, get serious with them, have children with everything. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Deal with them in that way. They are men do most men do not care about that when they meet that girl. They say they do online a lot of times. They say they do online. They say they doing rap songs too, right? I've heard it all. But
So
when it
how do you reconcile the condition of the black communities in America with that comment?
excuse me, what is that? What are you talking about?
If men don't care, how come more men aren't marrying these women?
You think black men aren't marrying women because most women are promiscuous or they can't find a not promiscuous woman?
Give me another reason outside of whatever. Give me another reason. Why do you
Uh,
think so?
one of the main reasons because we're broke.
You don't think women who engage in this type of activity aren't are the pinnacle of wives and oh we're trying to marry these women? You don't
No,
you,
black men are not men in general, but black men specifically, culturally, economic. We're not conditioned to marry anybody. We're not told when do I'm never. I was the second person in my male cohort that got married, and I got married a year later after my friend did. Right, I got married at 29. My friend got married when he was 27, but he's a year younger than me. He got married a year before me. Um, Prior to that, none of us ever talked about getting married. Now, me personally, I always wanted to be married. I always wanted to be married. Like when I was a little kid, I wanted to be married, right? I had a, I'm saying I was engaged before my wife, yada yada yada, right? Like me personally, I always wanted to be married, and I'm still married to this day. Most of my friends, though, I don't know if they wanted to be married, but we never talked about marriage. Like that was something we never talked about. We never, oh man, I got to get me a wife. I got to get a good. That was never a discussion ever. Now I don't know in your group if that was a discussion, but that was never a discussion that I had with my friends. Also, that was never a discussion that I saw play out in the media for black men ever. The rappers weren't talking about like pop culture wasn't pushing it. I never saw any of that, right?
I
So
guess I
you
differ with you
couple
because I was
wait,
never.
dude. You couple that with our socioeconomic conditions, us being poor per capita than everybody else, right? That to me is why black men aren't interested in being married. Lack of education, lack of resources, lack of finances, and then also couple that with the cultural pressures, right? The cultural indoctrination, right? The fear of being married, having a bunch of men. Because what men do here, what I did here growing up was, don't have a baby with no woman. She gonna get you for child support. I had that type of propaganda pushed on me, definitely. But I never had for every one time I heard a man say something about marriage, which was almost never, if ever, I heard 100 men talk about child support, and they wasn't even on it. But they talked about it as if they were on it. They vilified it, and they vilified the women that they feared would put them on it. So I think that these are more of the indications or the reasons why black men aren't interested in marrying. You want to blame the women? You think it's the women when women proven black women, white women don't matter. Women
Please don't
have a
put words
lower
in my
body
mouth.
counts
Please
than
don't put
men
words in my
on
mouth.
average. So
Please don't
how are
put
the
words in my
women
mouth.
promiscuous?
Please don't put words in my mouth.
I'm not. I'm just making the logical conclusion based on what you said.
Well, your logic is a little bit off because I never
Okay,
said it's
explain it.
completely women's fault. I literally said men do the same thing, but I'm trying to answer the question. I didn't say men were promiscuous. I have, but I would like to also add that I was probably raised by an older woman. Is reason why I am married and know how this thing kind of works. And it's not all men's fault. It's not all women's fault. It's a community thing. I came up here and I'm been saying things about the community and how it works. Now, yes, we can say men are broke. We can say we don't have enough resources. We can say this, and that. But from when I came to this channel, it says nothing about men in this and that. It's just talking about promiscuity. So is that still the topic, or are we going to talk about how it's men's fault?
How is what men's fault? I don't. What are you talking about? You just said a
Didn't
bunch
you,
of nothing. You
okay?
also lied
Didn't
because
you
you
just
said
say
that you. You also
did you
said
not?
that you
Did you not
also.
say?
Hold on, dude.
Did you
Hold on, brother.
not say I
Hold
was
on, brother.
blaming women?
Hold on, brother.
Did you
You
not
were.
say I
Hold
was
on, brother.
blaming
Dude,
women?
stop.
Did you
You
not say I
were.
was blaming women?
Dude, stop. You were trying to blame women. I clocked it, and now you moved, and now you well, oh, I'm not trying to. That's it. If you weren't trying to do that, you should have been. You should have articulated yourself better because you didn't say men are promiscuous too. You didn't say that. I asked you
I did
straight
say
out.
that.
I said,
Maybe you
dude,
wasn't
I
listening.
asked you straight
I
out.
said
I
they
said,
both did it.
hold on,
I said,
hold on, stop. I asked you straight out. I said, so you think that the reason why these women aren't getting married or the reason why the men aren't marrying them is because of their promiscuity? And you said, well, what is the other reason? That is literally how I start. That is when I picked up and started talking to you. So what are you talking about? That is exactly how it happened. This will be on you. You can go to YouTube and you can watch it. And after this live is over, it will be posted on YouTube later today, right? And you can rewind it back to your part and you can hear what you said. So if you didn't mean to say that, or if you meant something else by that, you should have specified it. But don't now try to gaslight me and act like, oh, well, I wasn't saying that. Don't put words in my mouth. That is literally what you said. And I just made the next logical conclusion and took the next step and finished the thought. Now, if you want to reiterate, if you want to reiterate, if you want to rephrase what you're saying, by all means, I will give you the grace to do so. But don't try to lie to me. Don't try to act like I put words in your mouth. I didn't do that.
and again, I never said I was blaming women. I was staying on topic.
All right, man. Damn. I'll be really rooting for y'all. I swear. You guys don't even understand how much I'll be rooting for y'all. I really am, dude. I'm rooting for us as men. I am. Black men especially. I'm rooting for us. But man, y'all got to do better. You got to. You cannot keep you should take some accountability, right? There are people watching us right now. You don't this looks bad. It doesn't look right how you're going about this right now. I'm just being honest with you, man to man. It's not it's off, right? You messed up and I'm giving you the grace to correct yourself. And instead of you going, "Okay, my bad," you want to double down and act and play this game. I already told you don't play that game with me. I heard what you said. I just reiterated verbatim what you said. That's what happened. So do you want to change your position? Is that not what you meant? Fine. Say that. That's perfectly okay with me.
I personally, maybe this topic is a little bit off compared to a lot of the conversations that's been going on in this channel. So if I came off as, "Hey, it's all women's fault," I would disagree with that approach. But no, I don't didn't mean that whatsoever. However, I would like to say this: men and women cheat, and when it comes to these questions on this platform, the fact that men refer to the collective of women as 304s while being the more promiscuous group shows how powerful the patriarchy propaganda is. To just touch on that for 1 second, when it comes to promiscuity, I would like to say that 35, give or take, percent men end up not being the father as a paternity test.
Okay.
Now,
So you just gonna move the goalposts
are you saying that's men's fault?
to some other sir, dude, you did all of that to pivot to another uneducated talking point that we've already deconstructed on this panel many a times. 35% of children are not being raised by
I
the
don't
woman.
follow you like that, sir. I don't.
35.
This is
Hold
my
on.
first time meeting you.
I'm gonna tell you what that number is that you heard on TikTok that you haven't done any research on.
I
That
have.
number is 35%, roughly 35% of the people who are tested for paternity. 35% of the time, right? It's found out to be that person, that man, wasn't the father, right? Okay, that's a high number. It still ain't most, right? But it is a high. That's a very, very high number. 1 out of 3 is high, and I 100% would be like, damn, that's a high number. It's too high, too close for comfort, right? Too high. Now,
So take in consideration the
wait,
women
hold on,
that
dude.
do
Hold
cheat
on.
that don't get
I'm not
pregnant.
done. I'm not done. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna keep going because there's another step. Now, you have to also know the other part of that those numbers. What percentage of people actually get tested? 2%. So, you drop. Okay. Go ahead. Happy.